Hi, I'm Jay Hill. I'm here with my good friend Dave Rutherford for another Dave and Jay show. And I want to say we're back. We're back on this same issue that we are going to keep talking about until people get so sick of it that they change their vote and vote Conservative in the next election. That's what I hope.
Well, it's so important, Jay. This issue, this SNC-Lavalin scandal, and the Prime Minister being found guilty by the Ethics Commissioner of obstructing justice, it is a big deal.
Yeah. You know, about the only people that seem really concerned about this are Liberal MPs themselves. Because there was a story recently where some anonymously were quoted in an article. And you know what they were saying? They said that if the RCMP were to investigate this as a possible criminal activity, that they would be cooked in the next election. Well, I sure as hell hope they are cooked in the next election. The whole bloody works of them. You know, they also were saying that that they are pretty leery of having Trudeau, his image, his face, his name on any of their campaign literatures. They just want to run themselves as a Liberal MP, you know, because it's nothing to do with them. If Trudeau and Michael Wernick is the clerk of the Privy Council and Gerald Butts, if all those guys were in cahoots committing this criminal activity, you know, they just want to distance themselves.
Well, I tell you what, you talk about the criminal activity. The RCMP has been asked to get involved. At the time of this edition, the RCMP were saying, yes, we're looking at it. Ultimately, the poor RCMP at the top of the chain here are, in essence, political animals too. I mean, they understand the politics of them getting involved. But the Ethics Commissioner said that the Prime Minister tried to obstruct justice. Section 139 of the Criminal Code says, everyone who willfully attempts in any manner to obstruct, pervert, or defeat the course of justice in a judicial proceeding is guilty of an indictable offense and liable for prison. So it's right there.
Exactly.
If you and I did that, Jay, the Mounties would be on us in no time.
And let's just talk about that for a minute, because I think people out in the real world watching our program, Dave, they probably understand that if they run afoul of the RCMP or city police or, God help them, Revenue Canada, you know, the full weight of the law, the full weight of the government comes down on them like a ton of bricks.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
with no leeway.
Bank accounts and, I mean, there's just no end to the power of government and the police force if they so choose. But you know, one of the problems, and I think we're going to see it in the weeks to come, is that the RCMP are going to be doubly cautious about investigating this because of what happened, ironically, with their current boss.
Yeah.
You'll recall that in the 2015-16 election campaign that saw the election of a minority Conservative government, you'll recall that about New Year's 2016, the RCMP, it was released that they were investigating Ralph Goodale on whether something had been leaked about whether they were going to tax or not tax income trusts.
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
And so because that, and a lot of people to this day believe that affected the outcome of that election, I think the RCMP are going to be doubly cautious about actually investigating this, even though I think most people would agree that they should.
It goes two ways. They could start an investigation and wrap it up real quick if they wanted to, right? And say, nothing to see here, folks. There was no obstruction of justice. They could do that too. But these things take a long time. These investigations take a long time. So the longer they dither, though, if they do nothing over months and months and months, then they look bad. So they are put in a difficult spot here. They're going to have to investigate based on what the Ethics Commissioner accused this Prime Minister of doing, trying to subvert justice.
And I think in that regard, Dave, that a lot of Canadians are going to be left wondering, you know, was it actually legitimate that the RCMP took a look at it? They say they're taking a look at it. They took a look at it and decided that there was no grounds to launch a full investigation. Yeah. Is that actually because of what Trudeau did or didn't do? Or is it because of the office he holds? Well,
it could very well be because of the office. But it would be, they are in a difficult spot. They're going to have to decide quickly, one way or the other, investigate or not.
But the crux of this, and we always have to keep coming back no matter how many times we do this show, the crux of the matter is that are we all equal under the law? And what is going to happen in the future if that continues to happen. Because mark my words, if Justin Trudeau wins re-election, he's going to consider it a green light to continue to do what he's been doing. He's going to say,
it will be.
well, Canadians have no problem with the way I operate.
Yep.
So that's
I
fine
agree.
that I want to interfere in a criminal prosecution. And, I've said this before, there has to be a clear line between politics and a judicial system if we're all to be treated equally.
And in this case, the Attorney General, Jody Wilson-Raybould, ironically saved the Prime Minister from himself in a way because she refused to change the prosecution process. She refused to. So I'm really, it's going to be interesting what happens to Jody Wilson-Raybould in this one. Yeah. I like Rex Murphy's line. Rex Murphy, when Jody Wilson-Raybould was testifying, Rex Murphy said, "There is more steel in that woman than ever came out of Hamilton." I love that.
And with that, folks,
I love it.
Or another show. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.